What's going on, guys? K-Pen here and welcome back. And in this video, I'll be featuring the team that got me to expert rank in the GreatLeague Remix Cup. It features an Alolan Sandslash lead on Shadow Claw. Yes, you want Shadow Claw for the opposing ice types and the non-shadow variant so it can take hits better from Clodsire and even mons like Fearow. Diggersby Safe Swap, it's back doing Diggersby things, and Clodsire Closer on Stone Edge. The nice thing about this team is that when you get a good lead, oftentimes Clodsire is strong into it as well. That means you don't have to switch out. You can stay in, get alignment, then toss Clodsire on it, and you're good to go. So in this video, I'll be featuring two back-to-back 4-1 sets I had with the team. The first of which was what got me expert rank, and the set that came right after as well. And with that, let's get right into the battles. Alright, getting to the first battle, we lead Alolan Sandslash into Shadow Alolan Ninetales. A fantastic lead. My opponent swaps into Lapras, and I do not have a fantastic answer to Lapras, so I'm just going to go into my Clodsire right away. Hope my opponent gives up a shield, and if they do not, then that's fine. I'm just going to come in with my own Alolan Sandslash and just farm it down and hope that the energy will do very well. Because seeing that they're already A ice type, I'm hoping that the third one is kind of weak to it, because what Alolan Sandslash likes to do in this cup is just core break everything. So I'm hoping that that is going to be the plan here. I do give up a shield in order to get a shield back from my opponent and get some extra Poison Sting damage onto the Lapras. So by going down once there, it allows me to tank this move and then farm down their Lapras all the way, which is going to be very, very nice. So see there, we get the perfect farm down, and in comes Lanturn. So Alolan Sandslash absolutely core breaking my opponent, and it is going to run away with this game here. No need to bait, we're just going to go straight Jaw Run. Our lose con at this point is my opponent calling an Ice Punch bait. So that's why we went for the Jaw Run on the first one, get the shield, Jaw Run on the second one, and we're just going straight Jaw Run here. We don't have to worry about my opponent catching, so we just fire off this move. Make sure we're going to outpace to a Jaw Run and then a Fire Punch. We didn't want to throw a little bit earlier, so my opponent would reach two Weather Balls against my Diggersby. So we overfarmed just enough so we could land that Jaw Run and then the Fire Punch, which my opponent realizes, so they concede. GG's. Next battle against Melmetal. We're just gonna stay in, and then on 5, swap and catch the superpower on the Diggersby. We know that with how bulky Diggersby is, it can take this energy, and that Alolan Sandslash definitely can't. Along with that energy lead as well, the Jaw Runs will be able to threaten. So at this point, especially debuffed, my opponent is forced to switch out. They cannot stay in, given that my charge moves are super effective against it. They bring in a Florges. They cannot farm down, otherwise we would reach another Scorching Sands. So they fire off a Trailblaze to take me out. I'm going to wait out my clock. Not completely, but just enough until I feel like it. Come in Alolan Sandslash, fire off the Jaw Run before they reach their next move. That will be enough. In comes Melmetal, and I'm going to go for the Jaw Run right here. I was expecting the overfarm since I made the catch last time, and now I was expecting them to overfarm a little bit more, and I was really wanting to be cheeky and make the catch on the Clodsire, but they fire it off there, and now they fire this one off right away as well. So a little bit unfortunate. I do go down 2 shields, but in doing so, my Alolan Sandslash leaves with a ton of energy, and then in comes a Shadow Gyarados. We can tank this Aqua Tail no problem, fire off 1 Ice Punch and then a second Ice Punch. I'm hoping that my opponent just commits to the Melmetal at this point and leaves the shield for it, so Clodsire will run away with the game. But they don't. They end up giving up their final shield there, and that's fine. I will have to take an Aqua Tail, but as long as they don't reach a second Aqua Tail, we're fine here. They do not. We get the Poison Sting down, and since they don't, we would be able to freely land an Earthquake, so my opponent concedes. GG's. Next battle. Alolan Sandslash into Shadow Dusknoir. Fairly decent lead here, but you do want to make sure you're throwing on good timing in this matchup. 7 Shadow Claws and then the move. Ice Punch does get a shield, and now here you want to shield back, and then 1 Shadow Claw and then the move. I don't do it here. I don't see the Astonish come through, so my opponent's able to make a nice catch. Pay attention, look, make sure that Astonish comes through so your opponent won't be able to make a catch there. Fortunately, the Pokemon they do make a catch on being Forretress, I have a fantastic answer to in my Diggersby. So we can just load back up to the Ice Punch, swap it in Diggersby, and when that happens, my opponent, they don't want to play anymore, so they concede. GG's. Shadow Malamar Lead. This one, out of all the Shadow Malamars I faced, not a single one has gone for the superpower. They've all gone for the foul play. They let me fire off my move first, which is fantastic. Most won't. But you just let it go and go for the foul play. If they do end up superpowering you, that's fine. You'll just come in Clodsire. We'll be taking super effective damage from the Psy Waves, but it is debuffed, and you don't want your Diggersby to get chunked with another superpower. And I say all the Shadow Malamars I faced like 4 or 5 during my sets with this team, and yeah, so whether that's a lot, that's a little, either way, they've all gone for foul play on the first one. Something to keep note of there. And when you do call that foul play, another reason why you want the regular, you have the Shadow, you won't be able to survive that. You have the regular, you can win the 2 shield scenario and then get alignment, of which is very nice in this matchup because they have a Forretress that I can put my Clodsire on. They try and catch on their Diggersby, and with this alignment, this game's just over. Even if my opponent gets a Scorching Sands debuff on my Diggersby right here and will be able to come out of this matchup decently healthy, I have an Earthquake on Clodsire, and Earthquake should be able to KO their Diggersby even with my attack debuffed. But they do not get the debuff, and at that point, my opponent does concede. GG's. Next battle, Alolan Sandslash into Venusaur. Fantastic lead. Our Alolan Sandslash and Clodsire are strong into it, but they swap into Greninja. I don't have a good answer. Gonna fire off the Joy Run right away. We get the shield, and then I'm gonna come in with Diggersby. I will tank the first Hydro, or shield the first Hydro. The reason why I come in with Diggersby here is because I realize, hey, if I lose switch advantage, then that Venusaur has nowhere to go, and we could still be in a good spot. I just don't want to come in Clodsire, lose switch, and now the Venusaur is on my Diggersby. That would just be very unfortunate. So at this point, my opponent can just go for the Night Slash, and they're at the back-to-back Night Slashes, so I can't really shield it. So looking back in hindsight, I should have shielded the second Hydro as well, so that would have forced them to go for a third Hydro, and in doing so, I would have been able to maintain switch advantage there and gotten rid of the Greninja, because as you'll see here, by letting that second Hydro go, I couldn't shield the third move since they were at back-to-back Night Slashes, and I lose switch, and then and they're still decently healthy Greninja that I don't have much fast move pressure in, so they're able to put a lot of work in there. And seeing it Swampert in the back, yeah, I couldn't win this. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have been able to win that anyways, seeing it was Swampert, but anything other than Swampert, the right play there would be to chip and then dip in Diggersby like you saw, and then shield the first 2 Hydros. GG's. Next battle, Diggersby Lead. We're gonna overfarm by 1, watch if they're gonna go for a catch, and we're gonna fire off this Ice Punch. If they load up to the back-to-back fire punches, you're just gonna swap it in Diggersby and make a catch. It's a very easy catch, waste their energy, and it's very nice. Otherwise, if they don't, and you'll see them fire off their move here, you will let it go, fire off your own Ice Punch, and if they play to the CMP tie, then that's perfectly fine. You can let it go, come in with your own Diggersby, and play it out from there. But if they decide to overfarm, then I would recommend swapping and catching onto your Diggersby after your call, either 3 or 4 more quick attacks from them, because they'll tend to throw on either one of those. Here at the Firo, we tank a Drill Peck, land a Fire Punch, they shield the next Fire Punch, so we'll shield in return, because we do want our Diggersby around to be able to deal with their Diggersby that's left, because Clodsire, as we know, not a great matchup there. They have a Shadow Murkrow, and we are in a decent spot, because I can go for Stone Edge. I don't need to go for an EQ. Resisted Stone Edge will knock out from there. Opponent gives up a shield anyways, and that's perfectly fine because this is a CMP tie, so I know they won't reach 2 moves. I can shield it. They get the attack drop. Not great, but it's a Shadow Murkrow. Doesn't matter. It's still going to get one shot by the Stone Edge anyways. And to add insult to injury, we end up catching a Drill Peck onto our Diggersby, which is an undercharge, a very nice undercharge. But they will not get enough energy out of this that they need, because you'll see here they get 4 pecks. They needed 5 to be at the back-to-back, so they had to throw 1 more, and in doing so, that placed the CMP tie with my Claude, and we're able to take out the Murkrow there. GG's. Next battle, Alolan Sandslash into Forretress. Great lead, fantastic mon for this entire team to see. So we're going to stay in and fire off this drill run. And once the drill run lands, we can pivot into Claude, and we'll be able to keep alignment, of which if my opponent's swapping out of that matchup right away, chances are they have a good answer to Alolan Sandslash in the back. So you want to keep alignment as best as you can there in that situation. And that way, when you come back in with your Alolan Sandslash against the Forretress and they stay in, you're fine. If they end up pivoting out into that third mon, you can then decide from there whether you want to stay in with your A-Slash against your third mon, so your Diggersby is on the Forretress, or if you want to swap out, so you put the Diggersby on their third mon and keep your A-Slash on the Forretress. And so that's how you do it if your opponent swaps out right away, and kind of like your mindset of what you're thinking. If your opponent stays in, I recommend throwing 1 to 2 Shadow Claws and then swapping into your Diggersby, just in case they have some sort of water type in the back that you want to bait out. And that's if a Forretress stays in that beginning matchup. Here, we're able to make a catch onto a Clodsire. That is a game-winning catch there. Would have been close without it, but with it, that's a game-winning catch because they are 1 Water Shuriken off a Hydro. We're 1 Shadow Claw off a Drill Run. Drill Run lands, takes out the Greninja, and here, opponent's forced to throw a move to take us out. It's the Sand Tomb, and when they see my Diggersby, it is game over, of which they concede. GG's. Next battle, we lead Alolan Sandslash into Dewgong. Pretty okay lead, and this is where we want to see the Dewgong, so that's perfectly fine. Throwing on good timing, 7 Shadow Claws in the move. As a 2-turn fast move user against a 3-turn, you want to throw after 1, 4, 7, or 10 iterations of your fast move. So they do go for the drill run. It lands, but it's not able to one-shot us, most importantly, and they cannot farm us down after, so they will have to throw a second move. Again, another reason why you want the regular over the shadow for Alolan Sandslash, so you can tank those ground moves a lot better. Now, my opponent pivots out into a Claydol. We get the shield back with the drill run, and we're going to come in with our Diggersby. We are ABA weak to Mud Slap, so it's very nice we see the Mud Slap user here. And it's kind of a soft ABA weak because Alolan Sandslash, it can fight back. It has access to Ice Punch, as well as Claydol being the Mud Slap user. We're also dealing super effective with the Shadow Claws. And this ABA weak to Mud Slap kind of works pretty well, actually, because as we know that Gastrodon and Shadow Kanto Marowak are banned due to this being the Remix Cup. They have Drapion in the back, and this should just be game over from here because we get the shield with the Earthquake, and then there's nothing keeping this second Earthquake from landing because we tank this next Aqua Tail, we just shield the next Aqua Tail, and we win. But I was distracted, kind of on autopilot. I hit no shield, and then the second I hit no shield, I went, wait, oh boy. And yeah, just concede. You know, mind blips like that happen. What you gonna do about it? Oh well. Next battle, Alolan Sandslash into Golisopod. A little bit of a core breaker here, but again, that's why we are on Shadow Claw, so we're able to deal damage that adds up over time. As you'll see there, Golisopod's already pretty low on HP. We can take it Aqua Jet. They're gonna have to throw a second move, cannot farm us down, but we do not want to let our A-Slash go yet. We want to hold on to it so we have fast move pressure, or at least decent fast move pressure into that Golisopod, as well as we have a lot of energy. So we just want to hold on to that. They have a Diggersby. They fire off a Scorching Sands. They do not get the debuff. We fire off a Scorching Sands of our own, and we get fortunate that we do get the attack drop. That's actually very nice to see, considering that they have a Golisopod. I've heard both. I don't know. I'm just going to keep saying Golisopod, and we're going to roll with it. Land a Scorching Sands. They pivot out into Golisopod. We land the Drill Run, pivot back into our A-Slash. Not enough to KO, but one more Shadow Claw does it. And most importantly, they do not get off a third Aqua Jet. So that when the Diggersby comes in, they're going to have to shield my Ice Punch. They cannot quick attack us down, waste more energy. And that's fantastic because we have our own Diggersby here. If this is a Scorching Sands, it will do a lot, but we can hang on, get to a last second Fire Punch. And that's very useful chip damage, as it brings them low enough to the point where Clodsire could possibly sting them down, or at least will be able to sting them down. And since we get a 0-turn swap and my opponent gets a 1-turn swap, we just fire off our Earthquake right away. And as long as my opponent goes for an Earthquake here, we should have this match in the bag, barring a catch from them, because we will always outpace to the Earthquake by 1 turn. So we both get the show call correctly. I land the Earthquake. They're going to land the Earthquake. And instead of firing off my Earthquake right away, I'm just going to overfarm. I'm expecting them to go for that catch, which they do. So we Poison Sting down and leave with an Earthquake to take out their own Clodsire, as we're able to take that one with the mirror back lines. GG's. Next battle, Alolan Sandslash into Lanturn. Great lead. And if my opponent decides to stay in, then we're going to commit a shield on our A-Slash. If it's it doesn't matter if it's a Surf or the Thunderbolt. If it's a Thunderbolt, fantastic. If it's a Surf, that's fine. We want to preserve HP because my opponent most likely has 1, if not 2 back mons that are weak to this. They end up going for the Thunderbolt, which is amazing. So now here I can overfarm to oblivion before they reach a Surf. And in doing so, my opponent tries to go for a catch, but all they catch are these hands in the Ice Punch. First Ice Punch lands, does a ton of damage. Second one will get a shield, and now I can just come in Diggersby and just soak this energy. We can take 2 Drill Pecks, no problem. First Drill Peck lands. I do end up going for the Fire Punch to take them out. Perhaps I should have just tanked the next Drill Peck and gone for the quick attack down. That way I could leave with a move to KO the Lanturn. But I decide, hey, they're going for a Surf. Lanturn's in quick attack down range. I could just give up my shield there and leave a ton of energy. I end up getting the shield back against a Murkrow, and when Clodsire comes in, my opponent sees that it's all over, so they do concede. GG's. And that is the second 4-1 set in the match, but I've got a little bit of a bonus battle for you, because you guys could be going, hey, K-Pine, you're ABA weak to fighting. What do you do against a Pangoro lead? Because that's allowed in the remix. Well, you stay in and you no shield. If they close combat, then they're dropping their defense. You can come in Clodsire and they're forced to stay in or forced to swap out. And with there, you can work around with energy in the end game. That's if they close combat. I have not come across a single Pangoro that has close combated. They've always, after 5, gone for Night Slash, or CMP tied me to the Drill Run after 6 and gone for Night Slash, of which every time you're going to no shield it, you'll survive, and then you'll pivot into your Clodsire. Because if they shield the Drill Run, now you have a shield advantage, and your Diggersby can work well against it. And if they no shield the Drill Run, then your Diggersby is fine into it because it can quick attack it down if it gets on it later on in the game. So again, it's kind of like that same situation against like a Shadow Malamar where you're calling the foul play, and I've never had a Shadow Malamar go for a superpower yet. Same situation, I've never had a Pangoro go for a close combat yet. Just something to keep in mind there. As we dance around, we play with energy, we get the final shield with the Scorching Sands, nuke that Togedemaru with the Earthquake, back in comes their Clodsire, and they do concede. GG's. So hopefully you enjoyed the video with the team that I used to hit expert rank in season 24. It's a solid team that allows for a good amount of flexibility in how you want to play your matchups. So feel free to give it a try while the GreatLeague remix is still here to help with your client. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Love to hear what you have to say. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one.